Ekstrom, Zach Fox. We're ready now for our Hoop Madness Team of the Week, and starting off 2-0 in district play is just about a coach's dream. The number 11 in the state, Plains Cowboys, have done that. They're our Team of the Week. They took down Lorenzo by 30 and Morton by 15. Next to speak with head coach of those Cowboys, Jordan Elam. Coach, 6 wins in a row, having won now 8 of your last 9 as well, and obviously 2-0 in district play, just about the start that you dream of. What's been working well so far for the Cowboys? Yeah, it's a year that, last year ended really well for us, but only had 4 returners coming into this year, so had to work in a lot of new faces, and these guys have really handled that well. And to beat 2 quality teams like we did this week was a tribute to the work that these guys have put in, and we're just trying to get better each and every day. And you won both of those games kind of in different ways as well. And that's something similar that we talked about last year as well. And for the first game this week against Lorenzo, New Year's Eve, I mean, they were on fire, especially from 3. You win the game by 30. How big was that for this group? Yeah, it was a good shot in the arm for us. 3-point shooting is something that, we do accept a lot of each and every game, knowing that we need to take those kinds of shots and play fast, push tempo like we need to. And against Lorenzo was a good example of what that looks like when we're playing well. The game comes a lot easier when you're making shots, and obviously we did that against them. And heading into Morton, you're trying to go 2-0. You're on the road at this point, a good Morton team as well. You get the 15-point win, but it was in a little different fashion. You still shot the 3, but it was more of a calmer pace. And then you have more back cuts to the basket, trying to dominate in the paint a little more. The defense did its job, but then really it was defense to offense, the transition offense for you guys, showing up the speed as well to be able to get the win there. Yeah, absolutely. Every game is different, and you get to district play, and teams you play against have defensive game plans just like we do. And so you got to be willing to accept whatever that game calls for. And Morton was obviously a little slower pace, less possessions, and didn't shoot it quite as well and had to rely a little more on our defense. But this group has shown this year that we're willing to accept whatever we need to accept to get the job done, and Morton was a great example of that. Well, including these 2 district wins, and then going back 2 years, the Plains Cowboys are now 22-3 in their last 25 district games. And so this team just to be able to turn it up a notch when it gets to district play. But a little bit of a different district this year. No more Newholm, no more Post. Instead, you bring in Whiteface and Morton. And so just talk to me about this kind of a new district a little bit. Yeah, it's obviously we have pretty good history with Newholm going back the last couple of years. Some great battles with those guys. So losing them didn't really hurt our feelings. But at the same time, and I told a lot of people this, this new district was going to be every bit as competitive as what we were in. And so Morton and Whiteface and Smyre all coming into the district are going to present their own challenges, and great coaches and teams that are used to being successful either historically or here recently. And so when you get new teams, you got to really prepare yourself to play maybe a little different than what you've played, because you knew those other teams that we lost out of our district a little better. But we passed 1 test already with Morton, got another big one with Whiteface coming up, and we'll see Smyre down the road, and we'll be prepared for those as well as we can be. And let's talk about Whiteface for a sec. Obviously, they're up next. It's a home game for you guys. Whiteface, they're fresh off of the state title game as far as from football, and so now they're just trying to ease into basketball season here, and here you are already at district play with these guys. But the last time you guys faced 2 years ago, they were able to get the upper hand at Whiteface. So just talk to me about what you see so far out of the Antelopes. Yeah, Whiteface is a very good team. Obviously, they had a lot of success in football, and so at a minimum they're used to being successful. And the last few years they've been really good at basketball as well. And so Coach Flores does a fantastic job with his guys, and they're just getting going. I think they've probably played as many games or more games than they've had the time to practice so far. So we're going to have to be prepared for their absolute best. I think their best is easily one of the best in our district. So we know we're going to have to play well, and honestly, that's what we expect each and every game. Still early stages of district play, but you've seen these guys now for 19 games. And just from your point of view, what do you think is this year's strength? Well, our strength, I think, is using our quickness. A lot of people would probably look at this group, and I see them every day and couldn't be prouder of them, because, you look and we're not the biggest. We're not always the most physically imposing, and yet for several years now we've been able to overcome all that stuff with effort and grit and toughness. And this year's group is really the epitome of all those things. So, we may not always look the part, but you can't always
always measure what's inside, and that's a tremendous amount of heart, and these guys don't let any excuses get in the way. And we've been able to adapt to a new group, a lot of new faces this year, and but I think our core values and the way we need to play and how we play really hasn't changed that much. And again, that's a tribute to the guys standing behind me right now.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming in for the Team of the Week, and best luck the rest of the year.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's hear from some of those Cowboys now. Gavin, you saw the transition offense of this team, and you even heard from Coach here. This is a big thing for this team to be able to show the speed that this team has. And so how big was that guy for you guys, especially as of late, and especially against Morton, to be able to show off the speed and not allow teams to really get back into their full court defense?
You've been coached to run, and nobody could keep up, and just try not to let teams get settled down in the defense and just go by them.
Big year last year for this team, a region final. You almost couldn't get any better. You're right there at state. So this team knows what it's like to get far. And so now you're right back in this spot right now doing great things in district play, 17-2 on the year. Everything is going good. But what did this team take from last year's region final loss? But everything that went right for you guys last year, what do y'all take into the offseason and apply it to this year?
We lost two great players, and we got to fill in their shoes. And we don't have their size or anything. So we gotta listen to our coach. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's a successful coach, and just gotta listen to him.
Braylon, a lot of this offense, just from what we've seen on film so far, is that a lot of the offenses kind of run through you. You got to touch the ball. It's either passing the ball or you're shooting it. You shot the lights out against Lorenzo, especially from 3, and then against Morton, it was doing things without the ball. It's the moving behind the the cuts to the basket and things like that. And so I just want to talk to me about your game and the versatility that you try to have.
Just being able to find my teammates, and if they can't see me, just try to find an open window.
What is it right now about district play? You just see that this team right now, obviously doing great things in non-district and going well last year in the playoffs, but it seemed like when it gets to district play, district title last year, this team knows what it's like now and what it takes, but it seems like you guys will be able to crank it up a notch. What is it about district play that allows this team to kind of play up another level?
I just feel like we know what we need to do to get to the next game and just worry about the team we have that week.
The number 11, 17-2 Plains Cowboys are the Hoop Madness Team of the Week. Next up, they take on Whiteface at home on Tuesday as they look to keep their winning streak alive. The Fox Fantastic 5 Plays of the Week coming up next.